Bienvenidos, soy la Bruja Espinada and I am here with your special new moon reading. So let's get started. Well, we have the Nine of Swords. Boy, are you overwhelmed. And this is followed with the Three of Wands, the Two of Wands, the Hermit, the Two of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, Justice, and the Six of Pentacles. Oops. Now, there needs to be some reflection, definitely. And if you look at the Three of Wands, this individual's looking out, watching the scenery, taking things in, really contemplating life. Now, the Two of Wands is making that decision, making the decision between practicality and passion. So there really needs to be a moment of solitude. And that's not necessarily meaning cut everybody off, but really going within to be able to really make a choice. I feel as though you may be a little overwhelmed with the concept of having to make choices, and that's probably why you have been in this state of feeling burdened, overwhelmed, because you've been in this state of actually being inside of yourself, really taking a step back to ponder things and trying to decide between the things you feel you have to do versus the things that you want to do. And I think, and actually not I think, I know many people are currently in that state. In the state of really overthinking, really taking into consideration on what is truly my life's purpose. Am I here just to really do what I was taught that I had to do versus what it is that I am sincerely passionate about? That's why the Two of Wands are here. And also why the Two of Pentacles are here. If this individual is on a tightrope, balancing these two different, I want to say material items, but that's not the case. I believe what this really is just because Pentacles is associated with monies, that doesn't necessarily mean it's monies, but things of value corporately and things of value spiritually, passionately. That's the biggest balancing game. This is all about trying to find that balance. This is trying to make a decision on what's right. And that's why there is this state here, that contemplation, that going within, trying to find that light. And it's good that you're doing this. It's not a bad thing, although it may feel overwhelming, the overthinking. It's okay. It's human to understand and find that happiness. And there will be happiness. That's the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is a time of celebration, a time of union, and that's not necessarily, although it could mean union between two people. It could be a collaboration, a partnership, whether it's in business, whether it's in friendships, whether it's romantically. But it could also be a union of what you're trying to balance. Passion versus everything else, whatever else it is that you've been trying to balance, whatever it is that you've been trying to find, that you find yourself isolated from, that you've been contemplating this whole entire time. Now, justice comes out. Justice comes out, and justice, as you can see, is holding the scales. Could mean the same thing. Balance. Maybe there is something that you have yet to find balance in, or have yet to, I'm trying to find the words for this properly. This has always been a balancing act, much like this is. Here, this individual is perfectly balanced, able to stand on one leg, showing that they've got this. Whereas here, it is more or less the same thing, walking forward, having that balance, not necessarily having to make a choice, but understanding there is that balance. And justice is showing that you have to give balance to one thing as you give to another, because the reality is that if you balance everything, you are that much more rich in what it is that you have been striving for. And you will find that there is a bunch of growth and abundance when you take that moment to contemplate and understand that it's a balancing act. One doesn't have to outweigh the other. It does not have to. The moment that you realize that this balancing act, and it'll happen, it's a part of life. The scales will not always be balanced. Sometimes one will tip one way more than the other. One will outweigh at one time than the other. But that's what the balancing act is. You don't have to overthink it. Sometimes one aspect of your life will take over, and you understand what it is. You know what it is. You realize what it is. And now, once you come to that realization, once the light bulb dings, you realize, you know what? I've put too much time and effort into one aspect. I now have to start putting attention into this other aspect. Once you realize that it's going to be a constant back and forth, it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to feel overwhelmed about it. It happens. But if you accept it, it makes life just a little bit easier. And that's what the justice is. You have to understand that one part of your life may overpower another, but that's just part of the balancing act of life. And when it's taken out, it's because that's not what's going to bring the balance in your life. If something has been removed, chances are the universe is stepping in, your higher power is stepping in and telling you, hey, you know what? That was never going to bring that balance into your life. And ding, ding. Although it may seem overwhelming at one point, it isn't. It just brings you to the more abundant parts. It highlights what was more important to begin with, what you needed to focus on. And that's a good thing. That's where the balance starts to come into play. Mighty Fates, what lesson do you have for watchers at this time? What lesson do you have? ascension. Ascension. This card is a testament to all of the work you have done. It is a nod from the universe that your efforts are seen and are being rewarded. Things are moving forward and you will come to progress and reach a higher state of consciousness as well as earthly success. This card can also be encouraging you to deepen your spiritual practices toward alignment with the highest codes of your being. Life is all about moving and reaching our true potential. You are well on your way. Keep going. On the flip side, this card can also indicate an imbalance around spiritual practice. Sometimes we can become completely reliant on all things spiritual and may ignore the earthly plane and real issues. This is referred to as spiritual bypassing. Another form this takes is continuing to focus on clearing and up-leveling, but not integrating. It can become an addiction and all about moving on to the next thing. And we think it's okay because it's spiritual in nature, but in reality, it can be disempowering. If this resonates with you, work on grounding yourself and perhaps slow down. Balance. There's an imbalance, and that's what's being highlighted. There has been an imbalance, and it may be overwhelming, but that's what it's trying to explain, that you need to find that, because really everything that you've been working for that belongs to you has been coming to you. As I say, I don't make this shit up. Animal spirit guides, what message do you have for our watchers at this time? Wombat spirit. Wombat spirit. Be at home. Burrowing deep into the ground, remaining safe, sound, and well fed with family is a special trait of the wombat. Home sweet home is always available if you recognize that well-being is the truth of life. Wombat spirit reminds you that to truly be at home in the world, you need to find comfort within your own skin. You can do this by accepting all your experience without judgment through a deep honesty and love of life. When you feel the freedom to be yourself, you can begin to truly feel at home in your life with your family and tribe. Right now, you're in a beautiful place where you can hang up the coat of your identity and settle into a true sense of home and well-being, understanding that all is well. Everything you do from this place rings true with the harmony of spirit. Could it be that you're not feeling comfortable in your own skin, thinking that the only way you can be with others is to hide under the protection of a mask or identity you created to protect yourself from getting hurt? This mask or persona is supposed to make you look strong, but it really just robs you of your integrity. Wombat spirit arrives to nudge you to drop the false masks, because it is not others who will hurt you now. It is you who are hurting yourself when you aren't being authentic. It's okay though. You can course correct if you're willing to be yourself no matter what comes. Even if others are not in agreement with your authenticity, you are safe with spirit. I mean, it's pretty clear. If you have that imbalance, it's pointing out, your imbalance is whatever persona you put on. Maybe you're putting too much face, you're focusing too much on business and work and not focusing enough on spirituality. And you need to, again, like it said, course correct. You need to find that balance of incorporating more of the spiritual with, and not let the business aspect take over, or vice versa. It could be the other way around. You're focusing too much on spirituality and not putting enough especially now that it's the new moon, when we set our intentions for what we want manifested during the full moon. And remember, the new moon is simply just the start of a new lunar cycle. It is the start of something new. And on Wednesday, it's the solar solstice. It's the summer solstice, not the solar solstice. Well, it's the summer solstice. So it is the start of a new season. It is when things are fruitful and super, super abundant. And I think that it's time for you to start indulging in that. You clearly are the one that's holding yourself back. I think that since you've been trying so hard to go within and find what it is that, you know, trying to make those choices, trying to make those changes, you've let yourself go within to, or perhaps you've been in too long. It's time to come out. Pretty much, it is time to come out and appreciate the abundance that is yours. Okay. So what is being drawn to you at this time, attracted to you, is inner peace and the magic of pretending. So inner peace, clearing past, ancient trauma, physical, mental, spiritual practices. Love your inner child, especially now that it's going to be summer. Summer is the time of play. Summer is the time of going out and, being truly appreciative of what is thriving in these times. So, magic of pretending. Visualize ideal situation. Be detailed. Play the part, see as manifested, speak it into existence, and be certain. So instead of, you need to come out of that hermit mode, stop overthinking it. It's time to start putting everything into practice. It is time. It's time. It's time for that ascension. It is time. I hope this helps, and I'll see you guys next time.